In today's show, I'm doing what many of you have asked me to do, and that is explain players' nicknames, explain the origin of sound drops, just some fun stuff as the NBA regular season is done. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I am the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com and at Yahoo Sports Australia. And you can find me on Twitter as always at redrock_bball and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. The playoffs are almost here, so don't miss the big storylines and team previews that you can find every day on the Locked On NBA podcast. Follow the Locked On NBA podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you get podcasts. The regular season is done. Tomorrow, I'll be doing an NBA award show with probably some play-in game predictions / projections. Not projections, predictions there. That'll be tomorrow's show, but let's have a little bit of fun. People ask this, I reckon, at least once or two, I reckon maybe 3 or 4 times a week. Hey, Josh, can we get a show explaining players' nicknames or explaining the sound drops or explaining all these in-jokes that you might have that not everyone's heard? And I'll probably do it now. And 3/4 of the people who listen again next year won't listen to this show, but that's fine. We'll just keep doing these programs, and let's just start off with the intro. And Michael Bolton, yes, that is the real Michael Bolton. Secondly, who is Michael Bolton? Just Google it, my guys. Michael Bolton is an 80s pop star singer. Love ballads. How am I supposed to live without you? When a man loves a woman. He was recently, maybe 10 years ago now, on the Lonely Island Jack Sparrow song. And then what I did when I started recording this podcast is every time that I would talk, I say, oh, here we go, ready to go. All right, let's get to it. And I just start off by saying that, right? And then I went, every time in my head, I'd go, well, this reminds me of the way Michael Bolton starts off the song on what's it called? Jack Sparrow. So he goes in and goes, boys, let's get to it. All right, so I would get the clip out of that and I would play the let's get to it clip. But then this year, I was looking to see, can I get Michael Bolton to come on the show and do a personalized intro? And I reached out to him on Twitter. I never heard back, and that's fine. He's Michael Bolton. I'm nobody. And then Cameo appears. And Michael Bolton, randomly, I just checked it and he was there. I am here for 3 days only, raising funds for my charity, and I'll do a cameo. And I go, awesome. Let's go in there. I'll donate to his charity and he can do a customized intro for the podcast, and that is what you hear at the start of the show. That's where that came from. So let's start that. And I'm just going to go through my soundboard here, and go through all the drops here. Then we'll go through some other nicknames as well.
I'm a fun guy.
All right, that one's obviously Kawhi Leonard when he was introduced to the Toronto Raptors when he had that press conference. I think everyone knows that. That's why I call him the fun guy. Mo Bamba.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I know everyone, Josh, play Mo Bamba by Shaq West. No, it's a terrible song, and I will not be playing that song. Anyway, and I play these things because they're things that I enjoy and make me, that are funny for me, not things that have absolutely no relevance to me. So what that song is, it's Mumbo number 5. And Mo Bamba is Mo Bamba number 5 because he wears number 5. And that's how I got that one. It's simple as that. Just a fun little shit song to drop in there. This one.
My name is Jeff.
22 Jump Street. That's the part when Channing Tatum is pretending to put on a Mexican accent at the start of 22 Jump Street. It became a meme a long time ago. So anyone who's named Jeff Teague, there you go. My name is Jeff. You know what? I was trying to find this drop and I didn't even see it.
Let's get to it.
That's the original Let's Get To It from Michael Bolton. LeBron James, everyone, you just Google LeBron James, kid.
LeBron James.
Nice, Gary!
All right, so for anyone called Gary Harris, Gary Trent, this is a clip of Matthew Wade, an Australian Test cricket wicketkeeper at the time. There was an Australian bowler, or there still is an Australian bowler by the name of Nathan Lyon, who was nicknamed Gary after an Australian footballer named Gary Lyon. So Nathan Lyon's nickname was Gary, and every time he bowled a nice ball, the wicketkeeper, Matthew Wade, would say, nice Gary. And that basically turned into a meme. That's him just saying that after a good delivery.
Nice, Gary!
Flaming Mo Wagner. Or Flaming Mo Harkless. That's just Mo. You know, Flaming Mo from The Simpsons. That's the intro to the the theme song for the Flaming Moe episode of The Simpsons. That's pretty simple. Richie Benaud.
2 for 2.
So Richie Benaud is when you get 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 2 threes in a game. It is also, he is a legendary Australian cricketer and cricket commentator. That's probably what he's most known for. He died a few years ago, but has a very distinct way of saying many words, including the number 2. Instead of 2, it's more chew, like that. So when someone has 222, pretty much anyone growing up in Australia will see 222 and think Richie Benaud. So I named someone getting 2 steals, 2 threes, 2 blocks of Richie Benaud.
2 for 2.
This one was the original one for Nikola Jokic, but just because people were doubting him in his rookie season. I go, dude, like, he's good. He's really, really good. In fact, he's pretty good.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
We're finally there where people are on board with me saying that he's good. The skater boy, Zach LaVine. Obviously, that song is Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne. Avril Lavigne, Zach LaVine. There you go. Big Chungus.
Big Chungus, Big Chungus, Big Chungus, big.
So, last year, Nikola Jokic, again, was playing, and you're looking, he needs a nickname here. Joker, it's boring as shit. Big Honey, literally, I know it's not the worst name in the world because beef stew exists, but Big Honey is a stinking nickname. And then Big Chungus was a meme. It was from this Warner Brothers cartoon, Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd, I believe, and they got memed, this picture where Bugs made himself fat, and they got turned into a fake PlayStation 4 game cover called Big Chungus. And then so I just started calling Jokic Big Chungus. And then my son Ben told me, hey, there's a Big Chungus song, which you can find on Spotify, by the way, which is where that comes from. I think there's like 3 different Big Chungus versions, and that's all that is, because he was big and chunky. He's not as chungusy anymore, but Big Chungus. Ravishing Rick Rubio. So, that's the wrestling music of the former wrestler Ravishing Rick Rude, the sexiest man alive. Ricky Rubio is pretty sexy. His name's Rick. He's Ravishing Rick Rubio. There's the music. James Johnson of the New Orleans Pelicans now. James is Jimmy Johnson. This is a song by Lagwagon. And that's that. That's it. It's just literally a song that's called Jimmy Johnson. So if you want to hear that song, it's just called Jimmy Johnson. And yeah, every time, so I would just always call James Johnson Jimmy or Jim Johnson. And then I go, hey, that reminds me of that Lagwagon song. There we go. And we put it on. Now, if you are reminded of a Lagwagon song when you should be thinking about hiring for your company, what you need is help. Making your life easier. You need Indeed. Indeed is the job site that makes hiring as easy as 1, 2, 3. Post, screen, and interview all on Indeed. Get your quality shortlist of candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description faster, and only pay for the candidates that meet must-have qualifications, and schedule and complete video interviews in your Indeed dashboard. Indeed makes connecting with and hiring the right talent fast and easy, and with tools like Indeed Instant Match, giving you quality candidates whose resume on Indeed fit your job description immediately, and Indeed skills tests that on average reduce hiring time by 27%. You can choose from more than 130 skills tests and then add your must-have requirements so you only pay for applications that meet them. If you're hiring, you need Indeed. And you can get started right now with a free $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/locked. Get a $75 credit at Indeed.com/locked. Indeed.com/locked. Offer valid through June 30th. Terms and conditions apply. All right. So let's go back through to the next one, which is, it's a classic.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Originally, this was for the Chief El Farouk Aminu because he'd sometimes be good and sometimes be shit, and now it's turned into Jay Crowder's theme song because Aminu's on the way out of the league. So Crowder is sometimes good and sometimes shit. This original quote comes from a press conference from Gennaro Gattuso, the coach who I think was coaching AC Milan at that point. Anyway, just Google or YouTube Gennaro Gattuso sometimes maybe shit. And it's literally one of the best press conferences you'll ever see. This one. Probably the first drop I ever had on the show. It's Stephen A. Smith mispronouncing Kristaps Porzingis' name on draft night and complaining about the Knicks. You guys, you brought me back off vacation just so you could draft someone by the name of Porzingis. And that's all that is because, when you're going to go on and irrationally rant against a franchise and then not know how to say the bloke's name, and then he turns out to be a pretty bloody good player, you deserve ridicule. This one.
A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one.
Easy. It's from, what episodes are from? Episode 1? Phantom Menace, Star Wars. It's Sheev Palpatine when they announced that he is going to be the new senator of Naboo. And that's, obviously a shifty prick there. But that is that one. This one's obvious.
Hello there.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3, Star Wars, when he jumps down to fight General Grievous. That was one that I used to use for OG Ananobi because OG Ananobi sounds like Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that's why OG Ananobi, I call him the Jedi.
Giggity.
Quagmire, Family Guy, anything funny and rude. Simple. Stop.
Hammer time.
That's MC Hammer, and that's for MC Hammer Do Diallo. That's not a hard one.
Big Shaq.
It's Big Shaq from Man's Not Hot. That's all, 2
+ 2 is 4. -1, that's 3. Quick maths.
In fact, let's do the original.
I tell a man's not hot.
So they're all from that Big Shaq song, which, Big Shaq Harrison. Bam Adebayo.
Bam, 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 bam.
It's Bam Bam Bigelow's wrestling theme song. I'm not going to play the Hello Darkness one because any time I do, YouTube gives me like a demonetization strike, so I'm not going to play that one. Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert.
Right, so this one is a bespoke sound drop that my son Ben created. It was the meme that was going around, and it's for different like countries, like France and Italy, and Japan and Korea and Thailand, whatever it is. And you put it into Google Translate, and you type English and then the other language, and you put the word in, and it pronounces it one way in English and one way in French, and then you play that song. And that's a standard thing that, you can see memes of that all around. And he said, can I do one of these? Who's a French guy? So he goes, I'll do one for Rudy Gobert. So he made it, put Rudy Gobert into Google Translate, and the English version says Gobert. The French one says Gobert, and then you play the song over the top of it. Jimmy Butler.
Because he's my butler.
It's from a Seinfeld episode where Jerry is filming the pilot for Jerry, or they got the pilot for Jerry. And that's one of the lines he says about, the butler that has to work as his butler because he was in a car accident with Jerry in a way to pay it back. That's all that is. Jaylen Brown.
JB, you've done it again.
Just a sting from an ad here for a place called JB Hi-Fi. Jaylen Brown's nickname's a JB. Simple.
He's Don. He's good.
Donovan Mitchell, another ad, another classic Australian ad for Don, which makes like salamis and meats and hams and small goods and that sort of stuff. Is Don is good. That's a well-known catchphrase / ad jingle from Australia.
Okay.
I think you know what that one is. All right, so this is the new one for OG Ananobi. This is from what is it? Avec Classe, Serge Ibaka's YouTube series where he had in Toronto get his teammates and they'd go shopping and things like that. And then OG was like, just giving him shit basically about fashion.
But what about scarves?
OG.
Balenciaga
Stop
ones.
OG. You better stop OG.
So that's OG Ananobi and Serge Ibaka there, obviously. This one for Marc Gasol.
Oh, hi, Mark.
It's from the movie The Room. Literally just a disgustingly bad movie. Horrendous. Then Bruce Brown. Baby shark, do-do-do-do-do. All right, so that one is when Bruce Brown was coming up with the Pistons. So I just started calling him Brucey, all right? Brucey Brown. I got Brucey. There's something in that. Like, what's a nickname for Brucey? And I went, oh, yeah, Bruce. Bruce is the name of the shark in Finding Nemo. So Brucey, the shark in Finding Nemo. So Bruce Brown became the shark. And at that time, Baby Shark was a song that was, popular, annoyingly so. And that's how that one came in.
I'm not tired.
This one gets used for players that are resting. It is Joffrey Baratheon from Game of Thrones once he becomes king, and Tywin says something like, "Oh, maybe you need to go to your room and have a bit of a rest." And that's how he responds. This is one of my favorite ones. The Pencil, Harrison Barnes, Barnesy. Now strap yourself in. This one's got a long run up. So initially Harrison Barnes was the Pencil because his initials are HB, right? And the most common type of pencil in every country in the world, apart from the US, is called an HB pencil. You guys, because you have to be different with your Fahrenheits and your pounds and your inches and your gallons, whatever other bullshit you use. You don't have HB pencils. You have a number 2 pencil, which is the equivalent of an HB pencil. So his initials HB, that is your standard pencil. He became the Pencil. But then also this song, which is called Big Enough. So if you want to hear the song, it's called Big Enough. The guy, which is, you've seen the meme, Screaming Cowboy meme, which is the guy like sort of half faded behind mountains holding his cowboy hat and screaming. That's what that is. But that guy is a legendary Australian singer by the name of Jimmy Barnes, who is affectionately known as Barnesy. So that there is Barnesy screaming which ties into Harrison Barnes, whose name is Barnes. Obviously, James Wiseman. Where are you now? So, James Wiseman, I was calling him Blunty. Not because he smokes blunts. That's none of my business if he does or doesn't. It's got nothing to do with it. But that song is called Wise Man. Or Wise Men, maybe. No, Wise Man it's called. By James Blunt. So, if your name is James Wiseman and the song is called Wiseman and the song is by James Blunt, you become Blunty. That's how my brain works. Isaiah Stewart. Again, I said he's got the worst nickname in the NBA, and it's true. Beef Stew just sucks dicks. Like, it is horrible. It is one of the worst nicknames you'll ever hear. So we can't have that. So again, let's go into a legendary Australian TV character by the name of Alf Stewart from Home and Away. And this is what we get.
Is that you, Mr. Stewart?
Well, who the hell else do you think it'd be? Get in here, you pair of flaming galahs.
So now Isaiah Stewart is also Alf Stewart, or he is the flaming galah Isaiah Stewart. Either one works. Alf Stewart, Home and Away. This one, the Dart, Goga Badadze.
Problem with my Gogo-mobile. Gogo-mobile?
No, not the Dart. Not the Dart.
Now, interestingly, the guy that does that ad for the Goga-mobile and is the same guy from the Is Don Is Good ad.
Is Don is good. Problem with my Gogo-mobile. Gogo-mobile?
No, not the Dart. Not the Dart.
So that was an ad from the 90s for Yellow Pages, looking for like repairers for vintage cars, and it was the Go-Go-mobile. Now, I've taken a little bit of liberty there because what part of that iconic clip is the bloke says, no, it's Goga-mobile, G-O-G-G-O, and he spells it out. So it's not exactly Goga, but it's Go-Go. Like, it's pretty close. So, and then he has that bit at the end where, not the Dart, not the Dart. So Goga is the Dart, in fact. Let's go to this one.
No, my son is also named Bort.
Now that, of course, is for Lou Dort. Now, I used to have a much longer one, but I just needed to edit it down. It just went for too long. It is from the Simpsons episode where they go to Itchy and Scratchy World, where Bart is looking for a Bart license plate in the gift store, and there's not one there, and then there's Bort, and he's like, Bort, and then the guy goes... And then he goes, who the hell's called Bort? The lady says to her son, calls it Bort. Then there's another bloke in there who's like, my son's name is also named Bort. So yeah, that's where that one comes from. Another pretty weird long run-up. Bet Online is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your sports action. Baseball season's in full swing and you can track all of the action at Bet Online and get the latest news, odds, and info for all of your sporting needs, including Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NHL, and all of your UFC action. Before the next pitch, head over to Bet Online on your laptop or mobile device to check out all the great sporting news, sign-up bonuses, and contest information. Use our promo code LOCKEDON and you will receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online are your online sportsbook experts. And Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar ever. Do you know that Built Bar has 9 delicious flavors, plus the occasional limited time flavor? If you don't know what your favorite is, you can always just get a mixed box as well. 18 bars, 9 flavors, 2 of each flavor, so you can figure out which one you like best. My favorite flavor at the moment is the... It's probably, I don't know, it's probably coconut of the flavors that are available, but I really love the cookies and cream, and the white chocolate raspberry cheesecake one was pretty good as well. Most of these flavors have 17 grams of protein, 130 calories, and only 4 grams of sugar, and only 4 grams of net carbs. And if you go to BuiltBar.com, you can use the promo code LOCKED15, and you'll get 15% off your first order. The promo code is LOCKED15 for 15% off at BuiltBar.com. All right, the next one is Tyler Hero.
Everyone has a hero.
True.
0 people shouldn't have a hero.
So that is a horrific song by Logan Paul. Just go check out the video. It's called Logan Paul Hero. And other people said, what about the song Tyler Hero by Jack Small Dick? I don't know what his name is. Jack something. Yeah, I don't know the song. I don't know the bloke. I don't want to play songs like that. I want to do stuff that makes me absolutely piss my pants laughing because it's frustratingly annoying. But there you go. So that's what that is. Tyler Hero. And it's funny. Shake Milton. This one's obvious. We haven't heard this one for a while either. Thomas the Tank Bryant. Because of Thomas the Tank Engine. That's the theme song from Thomas the Tank Engine. All right, let's talk about the Italian cock, Danilo Galinari. So Danilo Galinari, his nickname was the Rooster because Il Gallo is rooster in Italian. That's a common nickname. Well, let's not be too common. We can use the common nicknames occasionally, but let's not be too common. So then I went, okay, what's a rooster? Well, it's a cock. He's Italian, so he can be the Italian cock. And then that ties into something that Ben was showing me on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where it's Captain Falcon. If you do 2 of his taunts and mix them together, it sounds like he's saying this.
Hands off my cock.
In fact, he's saying hands off my prey, and then the other one is caw, like a Hawks, Falcon saying caw. But when you put them together, it sounds like hands off my cock. Italian cock, hands off my cock. The Rooster, Il Gallo, Danilo Galinari. There you go. Mitch Robinson.
And Mitch Robinson says, I'll take it from here.
There's an Australian football player by the name of Mitch Robinson, and that is just commentary highlighting his name. Simple as that. This one was a new one that I put in. It's just when I talk about guys that I like and I know have value and they get dicked around by their coaches, like DeAnthony Melton or Daniel Gafford.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
That's Michael Scott from The Office. How about this one for Gabrielle Deck?
I could barely recognise my own dick.
Well, it's obviously pretty straightforward, but if you want to know where the clip comes from, it's from these ads, New Zealand Deck ad. So just go to YouTube and type New Zealand Deck. There's a whole bunch of things playing on the New Zealand accent where they say deck. It sounds like dick. And it's a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, my dick looked very old. All the neighborhood kids want to come around and play on my dick. That's what the ads are. Literally hilarious, but that's where that clip is from. What else have we got here? Oh, okay. This is one that I want to get a nickname to appear on Basketball Reference's nickname pages. And it pisses me off that I haven't got one there. But if there's going to be one that gets there, it's going to be this one.
Maximum Derek.
It's straightforward. It's obvious. It's from The Good Place, Jason Mantzoukas' character, Derek, which is created by Janet. And that's just a phrase that he says. It's funny. It's a meme. And his name's Derek White. I think he's a good player. He's Maximum Derek. How about Hassan Whiteside?
The worst.
Should we clarify it one more time? That is saying the worst. The worst, not the white, not the world. It's the worst because he sucks, because he's really not a good NBA player. He's not a good defender, but he leads the league in blocks. No. He's not a good player at all. And that is from John Ralphio Saperstein in Parks and Recreation. Just type John Ralphio the worst if you want to watch the clip. He's talking about his own sister, who is also, she sucks a lot, as does he in that show. But they are literally hilarious. So you can go and check out that John Ralphio Saperstein, the worst, Parks and Recreation. What else have we got? Didn't play that one that much this year. That's for Thon McCare, who is not in the NBA anymore. And then what else have we got coming up? Oh, here we go. The big fella, Yanni.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
That is Australian news sports reporter trying to pronounce Giannis Antetokounmpo's name. Unfortunately, this guy's a professional sports commentator. He's not an NBA guy. He's not a basketball commentator. He commentates Australian football badly. Basil Zempler, shout out to you. But the thing about it is he is Greek. How can you be Greek? And I know Antetokounmpo is not a Greek name. It is Nigerian. But Giannis is Greek. How do you not know literally the single biggest sports star from your home country you cannot pronounce? You can't even pronounce Giannis.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Basil, you are Greek. Pronounce the name correctly, you dickhead. This is one for Obi Toppin because I was hearing about how good he was going to be.
I don't want to hear any more about Obi-Wan.
That's from, I think, Revenge of the Sith as well. Anakin Skywalker talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi. How about this one when we're talking about drops? Jack Armstrong.
Get that garbage out of here!
Anytime there is a block in a game, in a Raptors game, that's what Jack says. That one's not too hard to figure out. The double royal, Julius Randle. All right, so Julius Randle, last year, he was memed a lot for spin moves. Constantly dropping spin moves as the Knicks fans literally hated him. Get this asshole out of here. He's killing our team. He's disgusting. He was quite bad last year, let's be fair. So, someone said to me, Josh, you should be called the Spin Doctor. And I like that. I like that nickname. But let's just tweak it a little bit. So this song here is called Two Princes by the Spin Doctors. So there's the tie-in. But I didn't want to call him Two Princes. So two, double, Prince, Royal. So he is the double royal. It's not because he's a hamburger. It's not because he has cheese on him or any bullshit like that. It's tasty meat, however you want to go about it. It's the double royal because Two Princes is a Spin Doctor song and he loves spin moves. Tobias Harris, where this one came from, let's just play it.
I think I am a TH.
T to the H. Yeah, TH for life.
It's from Big Mouth, the animated show on Netflix. I was constantly talking in the offseason about Tobias Harris. He's just boring. Like, he's just a boring fantasy guy. Like, he just sort of gives average numbers in every category. Like, there's nothing super exciting about what he does. So, okay, let's spice him up a little bit. So I was watching Big Mouth, and they're talking about TH, which stands for Thick Hogsman. And if you don't know what that means, it means you've got a girthy penis. So, maybe Tobias has got that. I don't know, but it's a funny nickname anyway. And his initials are TH, much like that clip. TH, Thick Hogsman. The Thick Hogsman, Tobias Harris. There you go. Jonas Valanciunas, this is just Charles Barkley not knowing as a professional broadcaster how to say someone's name.
Jonas Valanciunas.
This is another professional broadcaster, Kendrick Perkins, not knowing how to say Nikola Vucevic's name.
It's Big Vucevic.
This one is about when we have matchups with two big centers. It's from Big E from the New Day in the WWE.
Big meaty men slapping meat.
Saying big meaty men slapping meat. And the last sound drop I've got here is for Goose, Anthony Edwards. And if you don't know what that is, the movie Top Gun, that is the theme song from Top Gun. The two major characters in that are Maverick, played by Tom Cruise, and Goose, played by Anthony Edwards, who then went on to, of course, be the Doctor on ER. And Anthony Edwards is the actor, but that's where the Goose nickname comes from. So they are all of the sound drops. Now, there are other nicknames across the league. I'll go through some of those now. You've got Johnny Collins, the Baptist, John the Baptist, a legendary biblical figure. What else have we got here? Fanta Pants Kevin Herter. He's got red hair or orange hair. Fanta is an orange drink. Therefore, it would stand to reason he has orange pubic hair. So they reside in his pants. And a common nickname for people with orange or red hair is Fanta Pants. That's how that one works. All right, I'm going to go through team by team and see what other nicknames we've got that we can talk about there. That were the Hawks guys. Hey, I've got all the time in the world. You can fast forward through this, but this is going to try and give you an in-depth look at the way my stupid brain works on all of these drops and sounds. Going through the Nets, if there's anyone that we need to speak about there, not really, because you got your Jeff Green there, who we talk about. There's Joe Harris, Smokin' Joe from Smokin' Joe Frazier, of course. James Harden is Jim Harden. That's nothing too exciting, I wouldn't have thought there. The Boston Celtics, we've done the Jaylen Brown one already. Robbie Williams, the Rock DJ. I know he's got a nickname, Time Lord, but I'm going with something different there. And so, Robbie Williams, the singer that sings the song Rock DJ. That's why he's the Rock DJ. I'll tell you what's another shocking nickname. Peyton Pritchard, Fast PP. Makes me vomit. That's literally one of the worst nicknames you will ever hear. It's not beef stew bad. It is pretty stinking though. It is rough. Charlotte, I called PJ Washington Jr. That's why I call him that, because originally I used to call him Paul Washington Jr., because normally if it's a PJ, it's because they're a junior, and he was Paul Washington, so Paul Washington Jr., but he's actually PJ Washington Jr. His daddy's PJ Washington, and he is PJ Washington Jr., which is pretty wild to me, but that's how the naming convention has gone there with those guys. The Chicago Bulls, we talked about Vooch, we talked about Zach LaVine already. There's not a lot else, I don't think, with the Bulls. There's Thad Young, who I often will deliberately mispronounce as Thaddeus, because I heard someone say that on like some sort of podcast somewhere and was actually calling him Thaddeus. I went, no, it is Thaddeus, my guy. There is Denzel the Hammer Valentine, after the WWF at the time wrestler Greg the Hammer Valentine. Denzel the Hammer Valentine. That one is, I think, relatively straightforward as well. Colin Sexton for Cleveland, the Padawan, because he's got, like in Star Wars, he's got the single braid down the back of his hair where the learning Jedis, which are called Padawans, would have that braid. Obi-Wan Kenobi, one of those examples from Episode 1 in Star Wars, has the little braid going down the back of the head there, and that's how he got that name. There's no one else. Oh yeah, the Torian Prince, the artist formerly known as Torian Prince, much like the singer Prince, who changed his name from Prince to the artist formerly known as Torian Prince. So the singer didn't change his name to the artist formerly known as Torian Prince. He just changed it to the artist formerly known as Prince. The Mavericks, Tim Hardaway almost got the TH moniker, the Thick Hogsman, but that went to Tobias Harris instead. Jalen Brunson, the burner, like science class, your Bunsen burner, Bunsen. It's a bit of a stretch, but it's that's where that one comes from. Obviously, for the Nuggets, there is Nikola Jokic, which you talked about. There's Maga Porter Jr., because of his potential anti-vax stance, which is often tied in with some of the MAGA stuff around in the US. So that's where that one came from. Big Shaq Harrison. There's not much else there, I don't think, for the Nuggets. Oh, actually, that's a lie because there's Fart and Will Barton. Obviously, Barton rhymes together. And then there is the Blue Arrow, Jamal Murray, who, of course, was then nicknamed the Headmaster. Now, a headmaster, we know, is the principal, the top of a school, the leader, the boss of a school, the headmaster. That's not why he's not big into education. Maybe he is. That's not why he's called that. It's because he Instagram lived himself receiving head. There you go, the headmaster. I'd love for that one to get onto a Basketball Reference as well. So there's pretty much zero chance of it happening. But the headmaster, Jamal Murray, that's where that one comes from. For the Detroit Pistons, let's talk about this one. Sadiq Bey, the depressed penis. Why? What's wrong with his penis, Josh? Nothing. But his name is Sad Dick. Sad, depressed, Dick, penis. The depressed penis, Sadiq Bey. Literally nobody will call him this. This will never make Basketball Reference, but it will make me laugh every time that I hear it. That's probably... the Duke Wayne Ellington, legendary jazz singer, musician, Duke Ellington. Also appears as a ghost on Big Mouth, if you want to tie in from an earlier reference there. MC Hamidou Diallo, we talked about already. The Golden State Warriors, Draymond and Steph, they don't really have any names. I want to call him Chef Curry, that's boring as shit. Eric Pascal, the Triangle, it's a math, or as we say here, a maths principle called Pascal's Triangle. Jordan Poole, the swimming pool. Michael Mulder, Fox Mulder from the X-Files. There's a few on the Warriors I didn't realize had nicknames. Andrew Wiggins is this Wiggo. That's pretty straightforward, that one as well. And we've got Wiseman, of course, being Blunty. Let's talk about the Rockets and Christian Wood, the crucifix. We know what a crucifix is. It's where Jesus was nailed up on the cross. So Christian, religion, wood. A Christian piece of wood could be called a crucifix. Or a crucifix is, important Christian wood. That's where that one comes from. J. Sean Tate, the Wild Thing. There is an Australian cricketer by the name of Sean Tate, who is called the Wild Thing. So this is J. Sean Tate. So he is also the Wild Thing. I don't even come up with all these on my own. People often offer suggestions, and I love that. I wish I could remember who everyone was that told me, but someone gave me that J. Sean Tate one. It was really, really good. Really appreciate that. Cousin Kevin Porter, because every time that Porter was mentioned, the amount of people who would flood my mentions and talk about how this guy is the best thing ever. He's mini Harden. He's going to win your league. He's dominating. You got to do this. You got to do this. And I just was like, guys, is everybody related to this bloke? How come every time he does something, everyone is going to defend him to every inch of the world and talk about how awesome he is, how he's the best player ever, you got him. The dude didn't even finish in the top 100 on a per-game basis this season. So I called him Cousin Kev because the only reason that people can be absolutely fondling him that much is because they're related to him. Like, why is everyone coming in here to defend this guy and talk him up at every opportunity? So that's why I called him Cousin Kev, because there's no other reason why people could possibly be... all over this bloke as much as they are. It was crazy at the time, and of course, it didn't probably quite work out as people hoped with his performances, even after John Wall went down. For the Indiana Pacers, we've got Dougie McDermott, who I call Doug McDirt. That goes back to an old game on the original NES entertainment system called International Cricket, and they didn't have the rights to use players' names, so they just changed the Australian team's names. There was an Australian bowler by the name of Craig McDermott, and they changed his name to C. McDirt. So I've changed Doug McDermott to D. McDirt, because he's not a very good fantasy player. Malcolm Brogdon is Broggo. That's an easy one. I think that's... Timothy John McConnell, that's what the TJ stands for. Tony Warren Jr., that's what the TJ stands for there. Cassius Stanley, wish he played a little bit more. There's definitely some nicknames there for him. For the Clippers, we've got the fun guy, Kawhi Leonard. We've got the Beatle, Paul George, because Paul and George are two names of the people in the Beatles, along with Ringo and John. So Paul George is the Beatle. There, I think that's all of the Clippers ones. Yeah, I don't really see any of them there. Who knows what Yogi Ferrell's first name is? Oh, no, it's not true. The Clippers, we've got Luke Kennard, the Duck, because in French, duck is called a canard. For the Lakers, the future MVP, Kyle Kuzma. Why did I call him that? Because much like Kevin Porter, when Kuzma came in his rookie season in Summer League and in preseason, everyone was, you could not believe the reach arounds that he was getting. Man, this dude's unbelievable. He's legit. What a stud. He's going to be an all-star. And multiple people said, man, he's a future MVP. I go, can we calm down? Like, he's shooting 70% from three here in the preseason. This shit's not going to stick. And people were, nah, man, he's going to be awesome. He's going to be sick. And I was skeptical. So I I don't think satirically, no, ironically, whatever. To take the piss, I was calling him the future MVP. So, all right, guys, he's the future MVP. Don't worry, he's awesome. He's the future MVP. Now, he's obviously improved his game a lot, and it makes it seem like I hate him. And he's in his role, he's really improved quite a bit. But to push him for this level of superstardom before he played a game was insane, and that is why I call him the future MVP. Obviously, it is not real. The table, Montrezl Harrell, because his name Montrez with that silent L, it really should be Montrezl. Trezl. It's a type of table, is called a trestle table, and that is, again, it's a massively long run-up, but we call him the table. The big avocado, Andre Drummond. Because remember when he had to miss a game in Mexico because of an avocado allergy, and his eyes swelled up and he couldn't see? And then he was calling himself, or his nickname is the Big Penguin. I went, no, you're the Big Avocado now, my guy. So because he's allergic to avocados, that's where that comes from. This is the Australian system of nicknames. Something that annoys someone, that's what you are from now on. You have a deathly allergy to avocados, you're now the Big Avocado. What else have we got? The cashier, Xavier Tillman. The cashier is someone who works on the till, a till man. Yep, that's where that one comes from. The wave pool, D'Anthony Melton. In Australia, there is it's not really a suburb, it's sort of like a town outside of Melbourne called Melton. And the one thing that we always used to go to Melton for is, I think it was the first place in your greater Melbourne area that had a wave pool. When I go to Melton Waves, to the wave pool in Melton, there you go, D'Anthony Melton, the wave pool. That's where that one came from. Desmond Bain, look, it's too easy to give him a nickname, Bain. I've got to work on something with a drop there. I haven't found the exact one, but there is definitely something that I want to do there with him. We've done Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero in Miami, but there is Duncan Robinson, the Spur. Obviously, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, two legendary Spurs. That's his name. There is The Undertaker, Dwayne Dedman, which I don't have his sound on my soundboard anymore, but obviously The Undertaker is often known as the Dead Man, and this is Dwayne Deadman. That's not a hard one to work out. I wouldn't have thought anyway. I think that's all. Oh, yeah, the Iron Shoulder, Goran Dragic. That was from David Ramil, who hosts Locked On Heat. They used to call Goran Dragic, or maybe they still do, on the Locked On Heat podcast, the Iron Shoulder, because every time he'd drive in the lane, he'd just put his shoulder in and knock people back, and they'd say, well, his shoulder must be made of iron, because how strong it is, just pushes everyone around. So that is where that one came from. For the Milwaukee Bucks, the Big Ragu, Donte DiVincenzo. I didn't come up with that one. I think that one actually might be listed on Basketball Reference, but that's not because I made it up. It's because he is, got an Italian name, and Ragu is, there is. It is on Basketball Reference, and Ragu is Italian, and that's what they call him. I actually really like that one though as a nickname. I never called Brook Lopez Splash Mountain. I'm not a big fan of that. Punch Bob, Bobby Portis. Remember back in training camp a few years ago, he punched his own teammate Nikola Mirotic in the face, broke his jaw. So yeah, Punch Bob, like SpongeBob, the full name, Punch Bob Shitbloke, like SpongeBob SquarePants. So because he punched his own teammate, broke his jaw to begin the season. So that was, that was awesome. Let's look at the Minnesota Timberwolves. There is Ravishing Rick Rubio there as well. There's Karl Anthony Townsy. There's Goose Anthony Edwards. I don't think there's too many others there on that. There is something brewing with Jared Vanderbilt. I've got to figure that one out. There is a name that I can come up with there as well. And I reckon we could do something with Malik Beasley as well, but I'm not sure about that. It might be an off-season task for me. For the Pelicans, there's not a lot there. There's Zion, there's Ingram, obviously Steve Adams, but is there anything that actually, apart from James Johnson, is there any nicknames? Oh, Josh the Hitman Hart. Actually, there's one. Josh the Hitman Hart from Bret the Hitman Hart, the WWE wrestler. Again, Hart, same surname. That's where that one comes from. The New York Knicks, you got Lord Alfred Payton, another wrestling reference. He used to be a wrestling commentator by the name of Lord Alfred Hayes, so he became Lord Alfred Payton. There's a lot on this team. There's the Fort, Kevin Knox for Fort Knox. We've got Mitch Robinson already, Obi Toppin already. There is Alfred Payton there, Julius Randle there. There's Rowan Barrett Jr. Obviously, that's his name. I think that's probably all of those ones. The Oklahoma City Thunder. Apart from Gabrielle Deck, I think they're pretty clear of nicknames. Oh, there's the C part of Moses Brown. Of course, Moses in the Bible parts the C. So that's where he comes from. Oh, how about Teo Maladon? Or in my American accent, Theo Maladon. There is a well-known brand of salt flakes by the name of Maldon Salt Flakes. So I just called him the Salt Flake. Theo Maladon. So that's where that is. The Oklahoma City Mudflap. Kenrich Williams with that really funny mullet, which looks like a mudflap on the back of a car. And it was based on me watching a show here called Holy Moly, this mini golf show. And there's a bloke on that with his, looked the same except it was red, his hair. And he was from a place called Yeppoon. And he came in and said, oh, yeah, my nickname's the Yeppoon Mudflap. And there's something there. So then I saw Williams' hair and went, all right, let's go. You are now the Oklahoma City Mudflap with that mane streaking down the back. Of course, we've got Lou Dort with his nickname, which we talked, not really nickname, more of a soundbite that we talked about a little bit earlier. Dwayne Bacon used to be the Baconator, which was a burger, I believe, that was available at Wendy's. Never eaten at Wendy's, but it's because Wendy's isn't available in Australia. But then, once I was trying to talk about Bruce Brown, trying to call him the Shark, and I got my words twisted and called him the Shart. I went, that's unfair to Bruce Brown. He's not a shark, which, of course, if you don't know, is the mix between a fart and a shit. So when you do a fart and it turns, it's not gaseous anymore. It becomes more solid or liquid, however you may decide to run at that time. So that's what a shart is. And I went, okay, so Bruce Brown's not a shart. Who is the player that's one of the worst players in the NBA that could represent a shart? And Dwayne Bacon is now the shart. Gary Harris and Mo Bamba, they've got their sound drops there already. I think that's it for all of the Magic guys. Philadelphia, we've got Shake Milton, which we've talked about already. I don't think there's really... B-Ball Paul is a horrendous nickname for Paul Reed. That stinks to high heaven. That name needs to go. There's Matisse Thybulle, the painter. There is a Renaissance or Impressionist painter by the name of Matisse. So he becomes the painter. That's where that one came from. Of course, there's the Thick Hogsman there as well. For Phoenix, you've got... Yeah, is there anyone there? No, I'm just going through them. There's Jay Crowder with his sometimes maybe good. There's my man Campaign, but he doesn't really have a nickname. Portland, I don't really use the standard nicknames. I'm not going to call Yusuf Nurkic the Bosnian Beast. I'm not going to call Damian Lillard Dame Time. That's just not what I'm about, is it, guys? Robert Covington, Bob Cov. Bob is short for Robert, Cov for Covington. I'd say that's all of those ones there. The Sacramento Kings, we've got Harrison Barnes, of course. We've got Budrick Hield, which is not his name. His name is Shavano, I'm pretty sure. But Buddy just turns into Budrick. There's Flaming Mo Harkless there as well. I think that's it. There's Hassan Whiteside, which we talked about already. The San Antonio Spurs have got Maximum Derek White. I don't think there's probably some potential in someone like a Yucca Purtle there. I don't really see anything for Vassell or for Murray. Keldon Johnson doesn't really have much, nor does Lonnie Walker. It always makes me laugh, though, if I read out a starting lineup for the Spurs and it's Murray and Walker starting together, because they're legendary Formula One announcer by the name of Murray Walker, who is actually a legend. Go and listen to some Murray Walker commentary. It's ridiculously good. I don't think there's anyone that I missed there from that team. On to the Raptors. There's definitely something with Malachi Flynn. I don't know what it is exactly. There's got to be a nickname coming there for him. I'm not sure what it is. Oh, the Wiki, Chris Boucher. When we were doing the preseason positional tiers videos, me and Matt Smith, Matt was saying about, hey, how come his name's Boucher when the old South African cricket player, was named Mark Boucher, spelt the same? And obviously Boucher because he's French-Canadian. I went, there's something in that, Matty. Mark Boucher for South Africa was a wicketkeeper, and if someone plays the position of wicketkeeper in cricket, you often just call them the Wiki. W-I-C-K-Y. So that's how Boucher became the Wiki. There is Rocket Rodney Hood. Rocket Rodney, just a standard nickname for someone called Rodney over here. And then we've got, of course, OG Anunoby, who we talked about already. Jingle and Joe Ingles, that's a pretty common nickname for Jingle and Joe. There, that's nothing too special. We've got Don Mitchell. We've got Rudy Gobert. I think that's probably all of those ones. And then the Washington Wizards, there's not a lot with that. There's Brad Beal and Westbrook. They don't really have any nicknames that I go out and give them. Let's have a look what else they've got on their team that we need to go through. No, there's just a frustration with your mate Scott Brooks. There's Tom the Tank Bryant, of course, and that's it. So that's a long one. I hope if there was something I missed, drop a comment in the YouTube video and I will get back to it and I'll let you know what it is. But I think that's covered all of the sound drops and nicknames that I do use on the show. There's probably other stuff in there as well that I did not remember. But if you did enjoy this show, follow this podcast, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and on the Odyssey app. And then on YouTube, hit thumbs up, hit the notification bell, leave a comment below. Tomorrow, NBA awards, and we'll talk some play-in as well. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.